हरि ओम। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गाये नमः। ओम श्री राम रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। भवानी शङ्करौ वन्दे श्रद्धाविश्वासरूपिणौ याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धा स्वान्तस्थमीश्वरम्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। बुद्धेर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगता अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम नमः शिवाय 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 ओम नमः शिवाय। नमः पार्वती पतये हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम हरि ओम। We have completed 11 chapters of Bhagavad Gita and today we will begin the 12th chapter. So in the last chapter, Bhagwan showed his Vishwarup to Arjuna, and he also concluded saying that you devote all your karmas to me, consider me as your supreme goal, be devoted to me, become free of all your attachments, become free of all your hatred towards all beings. In this way, if you live, you will attain me. So, here in this 12th chapter, Bhagwan will talk about his Vyakta and Avyakta Upasana. So before we begin this 12th chapter, let us go back to the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. As I had mentioned before, that the whole Bhagavad Gita is one unit. One has to understand the entire Bhagavad Gita holistically. So just as a revision, let us go back and see what we have already studied. So whole Bhagavad Gita is the essence of the Vedas, and especially the essence of the Upanishads. Sarvopanishado gavo dugdha gopalanandanaha partho vatsa sudhir bhokta dugdham gitamritam mahata. All the Upanishads are like cows, and Bhagavad Gita is like the cow's milk. Very, very, very nourishing, and also it gives us that supreme result of moksha. So we saw in the first chapter how Arjuna got deluded and became very sad. He was deluded regarding his own duty, and also he was deluded regarding his own nature of his own self, and also the nature of the self of others, because he talked about killing and dying, and also he talked about I and my. So Arjuna was deluded and became extremely unhappy. So the Vedanta Shastra says that all our confusion, delusion and unhappiness, the root cause of all this is the avidya, ignorance of our own self. And only by gaining this self-knowledge we shall become free of all our confusion and become free of all our sorrow. So self-knowledge is the main theme of this Bhagavad Gita as well as of all our Shastra. We have to recognize ourselves as we are. We don't know who we are. We know we are. We know our own existence, but we are not aware of the nature of our own self. So there is confusion regarding the nature of our self. Also there is confusion regarding the nature of the self of all the beings around us. Then there is confusion regarding the nature of this world which we experience. And also there is confusion regarding nature of Ishvara. So Bhagwan begins his teaching in the second chapter. He reveals the nature of the self, tells Arjuna that the self is neither born nor does it die. Na jayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyah ajo nityashashvatoyam puranaha na hanyate hanyamane sharire. It is neither, the self is neither born, means I am neither born nor do I die. And even when the body is killed, I am not killed. I am neither the killer nor I am killed. So that self is indestructible, and also the self is not confined only to this body. The self pervades the entire world. The self in me is the self in all. And we have to recognize this self first by making our mind pure through Karma Yoga, and then gaining the right knowledge and gaining that stability in that knowledge. We should become firmly, we should abide in that knowledge. That is called being Sthita Prajna, an enlightened person. So that Bhagavan revealed in the second chapter. Thereafter, Bhagavan in the third chapter elaborately discussed the path of Karma Yoga, how through karma we can purify our mind, how we can direct all our karma towards attaining God realization. So beautiful path of Karma Yoga was discussed. Thereafter, in the fourth chapter, Bhagavan talked about various upasanas which also help to further purify our mind and take us towards Ishvara. And also Bhagavan talked about knowledge, self-knowledge, and how we can gain by approaching a teacher. Tad viddhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Approach a teacher, do with humility, do namaskar, ask question and gain knowledge. Once we come to recognize ourselves intellectually, when we understand the nature of our own self, then comes the process of realizing, experiencing ourselves. For that, we have to become detached from all our actions. We should drop our action. We should take that karma sannyas, drop the sense of doership in action. So that karma sannyas was elaborately explained in the fifth chapter. And then in the sixth chapter, Bhagavan talked about dhyana, how we can then meditate on our own self. Shanai shanai ruparamed buddhya dhriti grihitaya atma sanstam manakritva na kinchitapi chintayet. Slowly and steadily withdraw your attention from everything and focus it on the self. And once you gain that attention on the self, then remain there. Don't encourage, don't initiate any thoughts. And Bhagavan says, one who meditates on this self as Paramatma, not that self means ego or confined only to this body, but the self means I am the self in all. So self in all is called Paramatma, the Supreme Self. So the self in me is Supreme Self. So one who meditates on the self as Supreme Self is the greatest of all the yogis. But how this self in me is the self in all? How this self is the Supreme Self? What is the nature of that Supreme Self? What is the nature of that Paramatma? And what is the relationship of this Paramatma with this world and with me? So that was the topic which began from the 7th chapter. Bhagavan started revealing his own identity. And to understand that Bhagavan, Ishvara, we can understand him only through the world. The world and all the jivas are the manifested expression of that unmanifest supreme reality. So only through the manifestation we can comprehend that which is unmanifest. Just as through the words only we can comprehend the meaning. Suppose the meaning is there in my head, you will not know, but when I express through words, then you come to know it. Similarly, that Nirgun Nirakar Paramatma cannot be known directly, but when he expresses as this world and as all the jivas, we can know. So that Paramatma has this twofold Prakriti, his nature, the Para and the Apara. So through the Para Prakriti, his own power, Para Prakriti, Ishvara alone appears like this world. And through the through Apara Prakriti, Ishvara alone appears like this world. And through Para Prakriti, Ishvara alone appears like the self of all. So through his Para and Apara Prakriti, Bhagwan alone manifests as all the jivas, appears as the jiva and the jagat. And we can comprehend Bhagwan's this nature through his love. So Bhagwan talked about 4 types of devotees who approach him. Artha, Artharthi, Jidnyasu, Jnani cha Bharatarshava. And Jnani, Bhakta, is one who understands his oneness with that Ishvara. Bhagwan says that I pervade this whole world. So he talked about his nature in the 7th chapter, and he said that I myself am expressing as Hiranyagarbha, as Vaishvanara, as all the jivas, as this world, as the karma. So Arjuna had this question about all these terms, Adidaiva, Adiyajna, Adibhut, Brahma, Atma. So that was explained elaborately in the 8th chapter. And in the 8th chapter, Bhagwan also told Arjuna that how, when we remember Bhagwan at the time of death, chanting and Om and remembering Ishvara and his nature, when we leave this body, we can attain Ishvara. Then in the 9th chapter, Bhagwan again talked about his nature, and he said that I pervade this whole world. Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina. I pervade this whole world in my unmanifest form. And the whole world exists in me. Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina masthani sarva bhutani nacha aham teshu vastitaha nacha masthani bhutani. I pervade the whole world. The whole world is in me. But I am not in the world. Means I am not in the effect. I am the cause. I am not in the effect. I am not changing. I am not limited. So though the world is in me, I am not in the world. Though the whole world is in me, I am not in the effect of the world. And in my Supreme Swarupa, there is no world, there is nothing. I alone am there. So Bhagwan's that supreme nature was revealed in the 9th chapter. Bhagwan also talked about Bhagwan also talked about his bhakti. He said, through my devotion, you will be able to recognize me. Then in the 10th chapter, Bhagwan showed Arjuna his vibhutis. He said, I am present in this whole world, so you can meditate on me, taking any expression of me. You can meditate on the Himalayas as me. You can meditate on the sun and the moon as me. You can meditate on Gangaji as me. And Bhagwan also told that the entire world exists in a little portion of me. So after hearing this, Arjuna had this desire to see Ishvara as that Vishvarupa. See Ishvara as everything and everyone. So on his request, Bhagwan revealed his Vishvarupa to Arjuna. And in Bhagwan, Arjuna saw everything and everyone existing in Ishvara. When we say everyone, including Brahma, Hiranyagarbha, Vaishvanara, all the Devtas, everyone exists in Ishvara. This is his grand manifested form. But at the same time, Bhagwan is also beyond all manifestation, beyond all names and forms, beyond all comprehension. So after showing this Vishwarup to Arjuna, in the concluding verse, Bhagwan told Arjuna that mat karma krit, mat paramaha, mat bhakta sanga varjitaha, nirvairas sarva bhuteshu, yassa mameti Pandava. Hey Pandava, one who does all his karmas for me, one who considers me as Param, his supreme goal and destination, one who is totally devoted to me, Madbhaktaha, Sangavarjitaha, one who is free from attachment to everything and everyone around, Nirvairas Sarva Bhuteshu, one who doesn't have any vaira, any enmity towards any beings. Such a person attains me. So in this verse, last verse of the 11th chapter, Bhagwan talked about being devoted to him. Him means he talked about himself as that Vishwarupa. Vishwarupa Ishvara. Ishvara as everything. But in the previous chapter, second chapter, etc., Bhagwan also talked about meditating on that Nirgun Nirakar, Brahma. So both the options were revealed to Arjuna. Meditating, doing upasana of Ishvara in his Avyakta Rupa, and meditating, doing upasana of Bhagwan in his Vyakta Rupa. So Vyakta and Avyakta upasanas were hinted, spoken of in the previous chapters. So Arjuna had this question in his mind, that which is better, what is better? Vyakta upasana is better or Avyakta upasana is better? So in order to understand this, he asked this question in the 12th chapter. With Arjuna's question only, the 12th chapter begins. And as a reply to this question, Bhagwan talks about both his Vyakta upasana as well as Avyakta upasana. And Bhagwan's upasana leads to self-knowledge, leads to that Param Bhakti. A person becomes Jnani Bhakta. So Bhagwan also then talks about the lakshanas of a jnani bhakta. Advaishta sarvabhutanam maitra karuna evacha and all. These are the lakshanas of a jnani bhakta. So thus this chapter, most fascinating, most beautiful. Only 20 verses are there, but very, very beautiful. So we will try to understand this chapter. So please pay attention and understand the whole thing properly. Okay. So we are studying this Bhagavad Gita with the help of Bhagwan Adi Shankaracharyaji's commentary. Adi Shankaracharyaji's Bhashya. Adi Shankaracharyaji has written Bhashya not only on this Bhagavad Gita, but he has written Bhashya on 10 Upanishads, main Upanishads, and he has also written Bhashya on Brahma Sutra. Therefore, Bhagwan Adi Shankaracharyaji is also known as Bhashyakar. He is actually avatar of Lord Shiva only, and he is also known as Bhashyakar. But apart from Bhashya, Bhagwan has also written other things. But one of his main Prakarana Grantha which he has written authentically by him is Upadesha Sahasri, 1000 verses on Upadesha. This is considered to be his only. But he also established this mathas, 4 mathas, and Mathadipati were also called Shankaracharya. And those Shankaracharya's so many years who became Shankaracharyaji of this mathas, many of them also wrote various stotras and commentaries and so many things. Therefore, sometimes there is a confusion regarding which is authentic work of Adi Shankaracharya. But we believe that all his bhashya are authentically his, and this Upadesh Sahasri. Other than that, everything must be of some other Shankaracharya. Okay? So we should understand this Vedanta with the help of Adi Shankaracharyaji's Bhashya. Then everything becomes more clear. Everything fits in properly. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. All the pieces fit in properly. If you start reading and going through all the other books and different commentaries and different people what they say, you will not be able to make a cohesive picture of the whole reality. But if we stick to the teachings of Adi Shankaracharya, then we will be able to get a beautiful, cohesive picture of the Supreme Reality. Okay? So here, in the beginning of this 12th chapter, Bhagwan Shankaracharyaji, he writes, let us just read his commentary. It is very, very pleasant to read also the original Sanskrit Bhashya of Bhagwan Adi Shankaracharya. So let us just read. So Bhagwan says, कि द्वितीय प्रभृतिषु अध्यायेषु विभूति अन्तेषु परमात्मनो ब्रह्मणः अक्षरस्य विध्वस्त सर्व विशेषणस्य उपासनम uktam. Bhagwan says that from the 2nd chapter onwards till the end of Vibhuti Yoga, that is the 10th chapter, at various places, Bhagwan talked about his upasana of that his Brahma Swarupa, Paramatmanah, Brahmanah, Aksharasya, of that Paramatma who is Sakshat Brahma, who is Akshara, who is without any adjectives and without any upadhis, means that Nirgun, Nirakar, Brahma, that upasana of that Brahma was mentioned in the previous chapters at various places. So Sarva Yogeshwarya Sarvajnana Shaktimat Sattva Upadehe Ishwarasya Tavacha Upasanam Tatra Tatra Uktam. Also, Bhagwan mentioned at various places the upasana of Ishvara along with all his upadhis, along with his yoga, his Aishwarya, his Sarvajñatva, his Sarvashaktimatva, that he is all knowing, all powerful. Sattva Upadhehe, with this Upadhi, that Ishvara, his upasana was also mentioned. See that the truth is only one, which is called Brahma. When we talk about the truth along with some upadhi, then we talk about it in a different way. For example, a crystal is there. When we place a colored cloth near the crystal, it appears of that color. But without any accompaniment, when we just look at the crystal, it is totally colorless. So similarly, that Brahma without any upadhis is that supreme Nirgun Nirakar Brahma. But the same Brahma with its own Shakti called Maya or Prakriti as upadhi, that same Brahma is indicated as Ishvara. And that Ishvara, when he manifests that Prakriti as this world, then it is Vyakta Ishvara, manifested Ishvara, as Hiranyagarbha, as Vaishvanar, as this world, as all the beings. Okay. So Bhagwan talked about meditating on that Ishvara without upadhis and with upadhis. Without upadhis means as that supreme Nirgun Nirakar Brahma, and with upadhis as Sarvajñas, Sarvashaktiman, Vishwarupa, Ishvara. Okay. So Vishwarupa Adhyaye to Aishwaram Adyam Samasta Jagat Atma Rupam Vishwarupam Twadiyam Darshitam Upasnartham Eva Tvaya. In this 11th chapter, Bhagwan himself showed his Vishwarupa, which is the very self of Arjuna. He showed his Vishwarupa for Arjuna to do upasana on this Vishwarupa, so that Arjuna can meditate, can do upasana. And in the end, he also told Arjuna that you do work for me, you consider me as your supreme goal, be devoted to me, etc. Mat karma kritarts. So tacca darshayitva uktavan asi mat karma krit ityadi. Ataha aham anayoho uvayoho pakshayoho vishishtatara bubutsaya tvam prichamiti. Therefore Arjuna heard these both things, that we can meditate. Bhagwan said, you meditate on my Nirgun Avyakta Rupa, or you can meditate on my Sagun Vyakta. So Arjuna had this has this question in his mind. He wants to know that which is better, Ubayoho, Pakshayoho, Anayoho, Vishishtara Bubutsaya, which is Shrestha, which is better. That Arjuna wanted to know. Therefore, he is asking this question, and that is how this chapter begins, with Arjuna's question. So let us chant this shloka and try to understand. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Om Atha Dvadashodhyayah. Arjuna Uvacha. Evam Satatayuktaye Bhaktastvam Paryupasate Ye Chapyaksharam Vyaktam Teshanke Yoga Vittamaha. The 12th chapter begins here. So Arjuna Vacha, it begins with Arjuna's question. So Arjuna, he says, Ki evam satata yuktaye bhaktastvam paryupasate. Evam, in this way. In this way he is referring to the last shloka of the 11th chapter. Ki in this way means mat karma krit mat paramaha mat bhakta sangha varjitaha, you had mentioned, hey Bhagwan, that one who worships me in this way will attain me. Sa mameti pandava, such a person attains me. So evam iti atitanantara shloke uktam artham paramrishati mat karma krit ityadini. Evam satata yukta nairantaryena bhagavat karmadav yathokte arte samahitaha santah pravritta ityartah. Ye bhakta ananya sharanaha santah tvam yathadarshitam vishwarupam paryupasate dhyayanti. So in this way, as you had mentioned, hey Bhagwan, if a bhakta, those bhaktas, satata yukta, constantly tuned to you. Satata means nairantaryena bhagavat karmadav yathokte, means without a break, they do karma for you. Means 24 hours they are totally dedicated to you. That is called satata. See, satata doesn't mean that we have to do karma for Bhagwan only on certain days or only during certain time of the day. But 24 hours, 24 by 7 as they say, 24 by 7, one should be dedicated to Ishvara only. Means our life, all our action should be dedicated to Ishvara. Dedicated to attain Ishvara. So our action should be such, which is our duties. The action should be such that it should create a rapport between me and Ishvara. So yajna, dana, tapak, karma. See, many people think that just doing their worldly duty itself is everything. But if you keep on doing your worldly duty, you will not get tuned to Ishvara. To do worldly duty is very good. But just by being a good citizen of this world and doing your duty towards the world, towards your family, towards nature and surrounding and all, itself is not complete. We have to do karmas which connect us to Ishvara. So our duty should include yajna, dana, tapas. Should do regular puja, upasana, chanting Bhagwan's name, so that we get tuned to Ishvara, so that all our karmas we know are dedicated to Ishvara. That is very important. Otherwise, we see a lot of people doing sincere work throughout their life, but they die without becoming Bhakta of Bhagwan, in misery, in sorrow, in pain, in a sense of incompleteness. That is not what is said in our Bhagavad Gita. We have to get tuned to Ishvara. We should understand our master to whom we are working, to whom we are dedicating our actions, to whom we are dedicating our life. So we should understand that. That is called evam satata yukta. One should be satat yukta, connected with our understanding and with our feeling to Ishvara. We should be connected to Ishvara. See, just as we get to remain connected with our friends and relatives and family members through our nowadays with our WhatsApp and telephone and Facebook and all. If your close friend or relative and all, if they don't call you or don't message you and all, you feel, oh, what happened? You feel disconnected. You call them and ask them to find out if everything is fine with them. In the same way, we should remain connected with Ishvara through our feelings. What feelings? Of love, of faith, of trust, and through our understanding of Bhagwan's nature. So while doing all our work, we should remain connected to Ishvara. That is what is called satata yukta, a person who is constantly connected while doing all work for Ishvara. So evam satata yukta ye bhaktaha, they are called the bhaktas. So all those bhaktas who are in this way remaining connected to you, do work for you, and in this way they do your upasana. Upasana is meditation. Upasana is actually, the literal meaning is to remain close to Ishvara. Upa means close. Samipe. Asana is to be seated. Means to be seated close to Ishvara. Means through our action, through our words, through our feelings, through our understanding, through our meditation, we should constantly remain close to Ishvara. Which Ishvara? The manifested Supreme Ishvara, who is present everywhere and in whom everything is present. Who is present in the whole world as all the Devatas, as Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, as all the beings, as everything, as all the actions, good, bad, ugly. Bhagwan alone is present everywhere. So keeping that Bhagwan in our mind, when we constantly remain tuned to Him while doing all our work, that is called Bhagwan's Vyakta Upasana. Such people are called Bhagwan's Vyakta Upasak. Upasana is same, bhakti, dhyana. So Bhagwan's Vyakta Upasak means Upasak of Bhagwan's Vyakta Rupa. These are one type of devotees. Then another Arjuna says, Ki echa api aksharam avyaktam. Then there are others who does upasana of you as akshara and avyakta, means without upadis. Bhagwan without upadis is akshara, is imperishable, and avyakta, unmanifest, means cannot be seen through our senses, cannot be comprehended with our mind, our intellect, but is present, who is existing, but beyond the reach of the mind and intellect. See, just as our deep sleep also is beyond the reach of our senses, our mind, our intellect. Similarly, that avyakta Ishvara, that Nirgun Nirakar Ishvara, is also beyond the reach of our senses, our mind, our intellect. So, echa api aksharam avyaktam tesham ke yoga vittamaha. So, those who are totally dedicated to doing your avyakta upasana, and those who are dedicated to doing your vyakta upasana, who among them are better knowers of yoga, of upasana? Tesham ke yoga vittamaha. Among them who are yoga vittama, better knowers of upasana. So that Arjuna is saying this so that I can also then pursue the same path. Just as when we know that two things are available, then we ask which is better, because I want the better, I want the best. It's clear. So again, that Ishvara in his Swarupa is Brahma, Nirgun Nirakar Brahma. And Ishvara, along with his power, he alone expresses as this world with all beings. So, Ishvara expressing as the world and all being is the Vyakta Ishvara. And Ishvara without expressing is the Avyakta Ishvara. Ishvara is one only, we are not talking about two Ishvaras. Ishvara is one. It's like a person who is talking and who is just sitting quiet. So the person who is talking and the person who is sitting quiet is same person. But when he is talking, we define that person through his talk. Similarly, Ishvara, when he is expressing, we define Ishvara through his expression. Though Ishvara in his supreme nature is indefinable, but when he expresses, we define him. We say he is Sarvajna, Sarvashaktiman. The very term Sarva we use with respect to this world, which is Sarva. We say that he is Jagatkarta. We say that he alone is expressing as all the Devatas. He is Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. As Arjuna had said, Vayur Yamognir Varunasya Shankaha Prajapatisvam Prapitamahascha. You are Vayu, Yama, Agni, Varuna, Shashanka, Prajapati, Prapitamaha. That is Bhagwan's nature along with his expression. But there are those who want to meditate on Bhagwan in his pristine nature, without expression, without the wrapper. See, just as a chocolate, if you want to eat, it is nicely wrapped. Beautiful wrappers are there. So when you see a chocolate nicely wrapped, when you show it to little children also, they say, oh, chocolate, I want. But what they are seeing is only the wrapper. So wrapper is there. So let us say a child is there. He wants to have that chocolate along with the wrapper. Or there is another child who says, नहीं वो wrapper निकाल के मुझे दे दो. I just want to eat the chocolate. I want to enjoy the chocolate without the wrapper. Similarly, there are those Vyakta Upasnas who enjoy Bhagwan along with his wrappers. And those Avyakta Upasaks are those who wants to enjoy Bhagwan without any wrappers, wants to meditate on Bhagwan without any conditionings. So they are the Avyakta Upasak. So Arjuna's question is, who are better? Which is better? Shankaracharya ji writes, Yecha anne api takta sarvaishana. This Nirgun Upasak, they are one who renounce all other desires. They renounce all desires. Sanyasta sarva karmanaha. They drop all karmas also. Yatha visheshitam brahma aksharam nirasta sarvopaditvat. Akarana gocharam. Because that Brahma is beyond all upadis, so they drop attachment to their own upadis, they drop attachment to all karmas, and they meditate on that Brahma which is beyond all indriyas, beyond all mind. Sarvopadit. Nirasta sarvopaditvat. Aksharam. That Akshar Brahma is free from all upadis, beyond all upadis. Nirasta sarva upaditvat. Akarana gocharam. Beyond all karana, beyond all senses, mind, etc. Yadhi loke karana gocharam tad vyaktam uchyate. That which is comprehended by our senses, our mind, intellect is called Vyakta. And that which cannot be comprehended by our senses, our mind is called Avyakta. Bhagwan is one. Vyakta as well as Avyakta. His Swarupa is Avyakta, but his Rupa is Vyakta. So there are those who meditate on Vyakta, which includes Avyakta also, but there are those who meditate only on the Avyakta. So tesham ubhayesham madhye ke yogavittama ke atishayena yogavit ityartha. So among these two types of devotees, who are yogavittama, who are the better knowers of yoga. Yoga means this dhyana or upasana. Who are the better knowers of upasana? So, listening to this question, now Bhagwan replies. So, the whole chapter is reply to Arjuna's question. Okay. So, let us, Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji, he writes, एतु अक्षरोपासकाः सम्यक् दर्शिनः निवृत्तेषणा ते तावत् तिष्ठन्तु तान् प्रति यद् वक्तव्यं तद् उपरिष्टाद् वक्ष्यामः एतु इतरे. Bhagwan says, Shankaracharya ji writes that Bhagwan first he talks about Vyakta Upasak. Thereafter he will talk about the Avyakta Upasana. So first he talks about Vyakta Upasana. Vyakta Upasak. What are they? Then he will talk about Avyakta Upasana. See, when we ask question and we use words, we should be very clear about the definition of these words. Actually, the greatest problem in the Vedanta students is they haphazardly, irresponsibly use these words. The meaning of those words they themselves don't know. Popular words are there, so you just flash those words. So they themselves are confused and they confuse others also. All these words we hear, Maya, Mithya, Asat, Jagat, Ishvara, this, that. But they should be very clear about the definition. So here Arjuna had asked, ki who are better, Avyakta Upasak or Vyakta Upasak? Bhagwan first defines this both. He says, I will tell you who are what is called Vyakta Upasak, who are the Vyakta Upasak, and who are the Avyakta Upasak. And thereafter he will tell who are better between these two types of upasaks, who are better. So let us chant this verse, but we will see the meaning tomorrow. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Veshamano Yemam Nityayukta Upasate Shraddhaya Parayopetaha Te Me Yuktatamamataha. So Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, he first talks about Vyakta Upasak. Then in the next two verses he will talk about Avyakta Upasana, and then he will tell who are better and all. Okay, so it's a very beautiful portion, but I would like you to contemplate and understand the whole thing properly. So listen to the pravachan again, take down notes, contemplate, meditate, understand, because this Vedanta is a path of understanding. The more you understand, better you understand, you progress. It's not a part of doing. That doing should be backed by understanding. Imagination should be backed by understanding. Understanding itself leads to self-realization. So it's a path of understanding. So make your understanding more and more subtle, more and more clear. Okay? So we will meet again tomorrow. Till then, you take care, be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy. Do your work, do your sadhana, and contemplate and understand exactly who is Avyakta Ishvara and who is Vyakta Ishvara. Okay? So you contemplate, and we will meet again tomorrow. हरि ओम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम, 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 जय जय राम जय जय राम। बोलिए सियावर रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।